This is MFT Raw, and here is some camera news. It does seem like Canon are not done yet with their mass releases of cameras. According to Canon rumors, next to hit the scene will be the Canon R7, the Canon R8 and the Canon R9, which are all expected to be APS-C cameras and serve the lower end of the market with the RF mount. The cheapest RF camera at the moment is the EOS R, and that comes in at about £1,700, but it is getting on a bit now, so a cheaper, more modern APS-C option is definitely welcome. The Canon R7 will be a high-spec APS-C model with the R8 optimized for vlogging, so no doubt that means a flippy screen and specialized software, and the R9 will be their entry-level mirrorless camera. This does introduce a little bit of a problem for Canon, as they already have an APS-C mirrorless camera line in the form of the Canon M series, but it does seem increasingly like Canon are looking to abandon the EF-M mount, as they haven't released a new lens for that system in quite a while, and there are no signs of a new camera mount or a new camera with that mount on the horizon. In fact, since the system was released back in 2012, Canon have only released 8 lenses for the EF-M mount. And even the last camera that they released, the M50 Mark II, was criticized for not really being much of an improvement over the Mark I. Basically, just don't buy a Canon EF-M camera at all, or ever again. Just wait until the end of the year, because that's when the first of the APS-C cameras will be released, expected to be the R7. I hope they come out with some kind of adapter for M users so they can adapt some of that RF mount glass to their M camera. Come on Canon, that is the least you can do. Leica have been known in the past to make alliances with smartphone makers, putting their name on the camera or even co-producing the camera, as they've done for years now with Huawei and the P-series phones. But this is the Leitz Phone 1, Leica's first smartphone, and it is a very well-spec'd handset with the Leica pricing to match. At the time of writing this phone was only available in Japan, and it cost 187,920 yen, or about $1,700 US or £1,200. But for your money, you do get 5G connectivity, a beautiful OLED 1 billion color or 10-bit color display with a variable refresh rate of up to 240 Hz. You get the latest flagship Snapdragon 888 processor along with 12 gigs of RAM, 250 gigs of internal storage, and that's all supplied by a 5,000 mAh battery. This is one of the first high-end smartphones that I've seen in a really long time that doesn't have a full camera bag's worth of lenses plastered across the back. Instead, this phone has just got 2. The main one is a 1-inch 20-megapixel unit with a 19mm full-frame equivalent view and a 7-element Summicron lens. The specs are very similar to the recent Sharp Aquarius R6, which means that this phone is probably just a rebranded version of that. But Leica have done a lot of works in regard to the chassis, as well as tweaks to the UI. There are also a bunch of Leica presets included there to give your images more of a Leica feel, and for those who like a gimmick, God knows I like a gimmick, Leica have included a magnetic lens cap with the logo displayed in the middle. It is actually a really impressive effort from Leica, and I can't wait to test out that 1-inch sensor for myself. Laowa have released a new version of their 10mm f2 0D lens for Micro Four Thirds. The 0D in its name stands for zero distortion, and Laowa have been using this optical formula in their fully manual version of this lens for a few years now, but this new version does have electrical contacts in the mount, and although it doesn't support autofocusing, it does give you control of the aperture through the camera body, and it will also transit the EXIF data. Being such a wide-angle lens, focusing for the most part will be pretty easy, so there's not really any need to worry about that. It is far more useful to give you the EXIF data and to give you one less reason to be touching the lens by trying to control the aperture. It is a very nice upgrade for what is already a very nice lens. And finally, the 38th Leitz Photographica auction was held this week at the Bristol Hotel in Vienna. This annual event is a very good place for you to sell your high-end gear, both modern and classic, and this year saw some very rare and very exotic camera equipment go under the hammer. Notable sales at the auction this year included one of the 10 Carl Zeiss Planner 50mm f0.7 lenses, the legendary lenses that were designed for NASA to photograph the far side of the moon and then later famously bought by Stanley Kubrick for the movie Barry Lyndon. This one is not one of Kubrick's stock. If it was, it would have sold for much more than it did. The final hammer price was €54,000. A bit further up the scale was the Leica MP2, one of only 21 examples and the very first Leica M camera to feature an electric motor. The bidding started at €100,000 and the hammer finally fell at €180,000, well beyond my price bracket, but the expected sale price for this one was 400 grand, so someone really got a good bargain. If you want to know a little bit more about the auction, you can check out this video up here, where I talk a little bit more about some of the amazing gear that was there this year and at upcoming auctions. Or if you'd rather have a look at something a little bit cheaper, then click here. That's me for today. Thanks for watching. Do me a huge favor and hit the like and hit the subscribe button. You know it makes sense, and I will see you next time. Peace.